relax. Everything's fine. You're going to find it eventually, whether you're 25, whether you're 35. It's okay. Everyone has their person. A lot of it is just timing, where your mindset is, especially like as a guy. Have fun with it. Just be out there. Be positive. Don't like think about it too much. Don't go home at the end of each day saying, I hate that I'm single. I hate that I'm single. Because if you're going to think that attitude, then you're just going to, hurt your chances in a sense.
Welcome to You're Allowed to Hate Your Husband, a modern day love story. I am Remi Stern. I'm a relationship coach, and we are going to talk all things relationships, from being single to dating to being engaged, married. Who you marry is the most important decision you will ever make.
If you're looking for a wife, which is a beautiful thing to do, the best thing to do is to choose wisely.
If you're thinking, what am I doing wrong? Everybody else has it right. Then you are in the right place, because trust me, nobody knows what they're doing. I'm so excited. Please hop right in, listen to this episode, listen to this series, and we are so excited that you are joining us here. In today's episode, we are joined by Zach Grodko, who is a really handsome, young, single guy in New York City. And he comes on and he's just very raw and honest about what dating is like these days and what he is looking for and what he likes and what maybe he doesn't like. And it's just such a great conversation with raw, honest truths that I know you guys are going to love. So hop right in and enjoy this episode.
I just want to say, for all the girls listening on Spotify, you're making a big mistake. We have a very, very handsome Brad Pitt lookalike sitting right here. So I think you should watch
I'm
on
honored.
YouTube.
Don't hype me up too much. You can't hype up so much from the beginning.
Pretty much. Hop over to YouTube if you are on Spotify or Apple right now. We have a lot of good questions, because being a girl who's dating, you want to know what's going on in the guy's head. So from my clients, I gave them the opportunity to ask me questions to ask you. So we're going to get to those. But as a guy, Jonathan has some good questions for you.
I've got a lot of good questions. We're going to have some fun. But we'll start off with, are you currently looking for someone serious? Or are you just looking to have fun? Tell us a little bit about yourself. So over the next hour, then girls know
who you are.
All right. So like a quick background, I guess. So I'm from Brooklyn. I'm Ashkenaz. I would consider myself more like modern Orthodox, which is not really such a thing these days, right? You kind of have people that are here or there. So keep Shabbat, eat out. Very hard, I feel like, place to kind of find. I work at a small investment bank. And in terms of whether looking for serious or fun, I think definitely over the last couple of years, it definitely turned to the more serious aspect. I think any guy that's 30 or younger, probably, if they say that, doesn't know what they're talking about.
I agree.
In my opinion, like until you're 30, as a guy, that's it. You're definitely not in the serious.
I don't think our
mindset.
brain fully forms until we're 25 as a male.
Meanwhile, we're like,
more like 30.
We're like
25 to 30, because we're like in a playground, NYC, and it's just too much fun to enjoy.
Yeah, and there's like a 3-to-1 girl to guy ratio in New York City, and then
girl to guy.
And
then
until 30 years old, you're very young.
And then
you're
women,
most likely too young.
Women are literally like adults by the time they're 14 years old, and we're like so mature, and you guys are just children until you're.
I'd say girls 24.
42.
I'd say 24 years
Yeah,
old.
so definitely after 30, people definitely took me more seriously in a sense. Like I feel like in the last I'm 32 now, so I feel like in the last 2 years, definitely in terms of getting set up more and whatever, definitely more of a ready mindset. I would say the light bulb was like off 2 years ago, and now let's say the light bulb's like flickering a little bit,
Flickering.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
So we're still having fun. Just to cut him off, sorry. Do you, just out of curiosity, because I hear this a lot, put women into categories of fun and serious, or like how do you decide if it's fun or serious?
I think guys alike definitely decompartmentalizes girls like serious or not serious for sure, until a certain point, like, okay, like this girl, like I won't take. I'm being completely frank. Like there's some girls that you're just like, okay, like this girl is just a fun girl, and then there's some girls that are like, all right, this is a serious girl that I'm gonna, take seriously.
We want you to be frank.
Yeah, but,
Keep-
I
I'm
know.
being
completely
honest.
free. I'm an open book. That's it. I say
It's
it how
so
it is.
hard for me.
Yeah.
But like, what makes a girl in the fun category and you're not going to take her seriously? Is
I
it
don't-
this?
sometimes it's not a certain characteristic. It's either like a feeling or like the way you just, portray that person. Just like when people say like, okay, this girl's a great girl. She has this, she has that. And like you could check like every box. That doesn't mean that that person's you're going to just click like
Right.
chemistry
A
wise.
lot of it is chemistry.
So same way of that. It's just like sometimes just in your head, you just like, you just put that person in that compartment and then it's kind of like hard to get out of that. Right.
So can you describe your dream woman? What are you looking for in a partner?
So personally, I want definitely a girl that's kind of has a head on her shoulders, right? I'm not looking for this stereotypical like, okay, I want this girl to just be at home cooking, cleaning, taking care of kids, right? I mean, at a certain point, yeah, that's fine. But I think a lot of guys embolize like, okay, like some guys want a girl that's like, career driven, ambitious. Some guys just want a girl that's gonna, like mold them into just being like the perfect housewife. I kind of want to have someone to have like a personality before meeting them. Head on her shoulders, fun, cool personality, not, quote unquote, like they say, like vanilla, like has something, else to them. A lot of times though, you kind of like get on the line of crazy and vanilla, but that's a different story. But definitely to have some like edge to them in a sense. Not
So
just,
there's
like, boring.
vanilla and then there's crazy.
There's
and then
vanilla, there's crazy,
and you
there's
want the
middle.
fine line. You want that
But
fine
the
line.
issue is like usually when there's a little edge, you kind of tend towards the side of
The
crazy.
crazy.
So it's a little harder, but you want to have like that middle line,
My wife
Yeah.
is exactly in the middle.
No, listen.
No,
just
you
from-
don't want the plane to go like, and you don't want
Yeah.
the plane to go like that. But you want it exactly the wheels.
By
to be
the way,
straight
I'm
center. You're straight center.
I'm actually like this. I go like super vanilla. Sometimes like I could be very boring sometimes.
Evenly
And then I could be a little
crazy and evenly
crazy.
vanilla.
And then I could
Right
be
now,
vanilla.
I could
and then I
attest
could be
that. Just from the few times I've, met Remi, I could attest to like, she's definitely on the middle of the line. Like
Thank
she's definitely
you.
not vanilla.
Right.
She goes out, she's still have fun. She doesn't want to just stay home all the time, but it's good to stay home sometimes. It's good to go out sometimes.
You are speaking my language.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So you don't want too vanilla. You don't want too crazy. You really kind of want like a mix in both. A good head on your her shoulders.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And
Okay.
I mean,
And where
And I
are
think
you
most
meeting?
guys, are like that. I don't know. I'm not gonna, but for most guys,
Most
friends
guys. Yeah,
wise,
we're going to talk about most guys
Yeah.
today.
can I ask a follow up to that? What is going to make a girl crazy? Is if she's gonna like text too many times,
Well, actually,
or
hold on. A crazy guy might look for a mirror image like a crazy girl. A really vanilla guy might actually prefer a vanilla girl. You seem to be also in the center of
Yes.
fun but intelligent, hardworking but likes to enjoy life. So you probably want your mirror image as well.
correct, right? Like I definitely work hard, but I also have like a player mentality. I travel a lot. I go out.
We saw you
I don't
out
wanna
on
be-
Wednesday night.
yes,
I saw you out on Wednesday night.
Yes.
True, which I was.
How late did you stay out?
It was. I wasn't there till 7 a.m. I was like 2 a.m., 2, 3
Okay,
a.m. But my
we-
friends were there till 7 a.m.
Usually we are too. Like that party, we wait. What's it called? We like block off the whole next day so that we don't have to do anything. We were such grandparents that
We were
night.
grandparents.
We're
But
such
it was all your
grandparents.
fault.
It-
I was ready to run.
No, you were
I mean,
not.
listen. If you
I
guys,
was
if you
No,
guys
you
continued to go out, maybe I would have. Honestly,
we
I don't
normally
know, 'cause,
we
like,
normally do.
But we were
it was,
drinking responsibly, knowing we were going home very soon.
Oh, yeah,
so we
yeah.
didn't
We're
have the
such
energy.
grandparents.
people
Yeah, you're a big
watching.
chicken.
Yeah.
You
Whatever,
screwed my
it's all
night.
good, it's fine.
I'm gonna have a question about that later. You go.
Where are you meeting girls these days?
So the apps I feel like are just not really it, I would say, right? Mainly setups like friends of friends setting you up. I think going out is like not the easiest way to meet people either. Even if you're at like in a Jewish event or something like that, everyone's kind of in their circle. You say hi to someone, bye, you might get their number, you might text them. There's not really a way to like, unless to really like hit it off with that person. So I feel like it's mostly setting up friends of friends, someone setting you up. Obviously, you have the parent setups, which,
Mhm.
don't really work for most of the time. But if it's from a friend of a friend or something to set you up, I take that like usually like more seriously, just in a sense.
Okay, question. So I
Yeah.
heard something recently that the nice guy usually isn't going up to a girl at like a bar, club, Jewish function because like they want to be respectful and they don't think the girls want them to come up. But like kind of the player boy is the one who goes up and flirts with girls. Are you the type to go up and like if you see a pretty girl, are you going to go flirt with her somewhere? Are you going to like hang back a little bit? Because women like want the guys to come up to them sometimes. And
Right. So this I think is just like the main issue. So obviously I still have like growing up, I had like a lot of good girlfriends. I had good guy friends. Like I still have some good girlfriends that I know for like, 10, 15 years, which I feel like, a lot of guys like don't have. And some people think a guy and girl can't be friends, yada, yada. But like I have some good girlfriends that like fully platonic relationships for like 10, 15 years. And like the stories like I hear from them is just that, the girl does want a guy to come over to them. And we just live in this
Sure.
day of age where every guy thinks they have a girl in their back pocket because they have 10 matches on an app when it's all fake. It's not real. Or they're on Instagram and they see, this girl that's on Instagram that's like a 10 out of 10, but in person she's a 5 out of 10. Even the night of the event,
Yep.
I met these two model girls that I follow on Instagram for years. And like I saw them, don't get me wrong, they were pretty, but
Not near.
compared to what their Instagram was, I was like, all right, this is crazy. And they have 2 million followers. They're considered huge influencers. And you just have to realize like all that stuff is fake. The app's fake, Instagram fake.
It's
not
such
reality.
a bummer because also these girls are pretty, but you know
True.
what they're doing? Fun fact, they are also using Facetune to make themselves skinnier, to fix their
Take away the
cheeks.
skin. One of the models' skin was not good.
I know the
Was
skin.
not
They
good.
and so
And if
okay,
you look at the Instagram, it's fine because they're filtering it.
yeah.
And that's a bad thing for guys too, because a lot of times if a guy is seeing someone on an app, it's not then they meet them in person and they're just kind of, discouraged. But it's just an overall thing of like, it's the first generation where you have so much access to like information and people where like back in the day, it's like, okay, you had your group of friends, your friend set you up with someone and that was it. You didn't really know anyone else. So for most guys, they just became, more intimidated to go over to a girl because they're like, okay, let me just text the girl or DM a girl in my back pocket. It's like, why do I need to walk up to this girl? Right. But personally, I'll walk over to girls, sometimes yes, sometimes no, depending kind of like the mood that I'm into. But even at myself, like sometimes I'll get intimidated to walk over to someone. Like it's just like,
I'm a little shy
how it
myself
is.
too. So
Yeah.
sometimes when I was single, of course.
Yeah, I don't
So
believe
what
that somehow,
advice do you
but
I
give
don't
your-
believe that.
What
at all.
advice do you give your girlfriends when they say they like a guy, but he's not flirting with me? He's not asking me out. I have a crush on this guy. I'd love for him to ask him out. Can I ask him out? What would a girl do in order to get a guy's attention
right.
if she is interested?
So personally, if like I do want a girl, I will be upfront and like I'll ask them out and things like that. But I know most guys, they still wouldn't, or they would just continue texting, beat around the bush, not really say anything. So as a girl, I think it's totally fine to, quote unquote, make the first move.
I fully agree.
Ask out the guy, walk over to the guy at the bar. Like if you're gonna walk over to the guy's not gonna be like, oh, she's walking over to me, I don't like her, right? It's a like personally as a guy, like I would like that. Right.
It would be great. It would be refreshing.
But for example, the guy is really the one that's supposed to be
people.
doing that,
Sure.
which I agree with. But it's actually funny because now I've actually noticed more and more girls start
Girls
to
are
do
doing
that
it.
because they're just sick and tired of guys not walking up to them.
So this is
Yeah.
what I tell my clients, and we actually just had this amazing matchmaker on the podcast, and then she worked with my clients in our group program just now. And what we said is for a woman, a really cool thing is to open the door. Like open the conversation. So follow a guy on Instagram. You don't need to text him. You don't need to DM him. But you can follow him and maybe like one of his stories or something. And then if he's reciprocating, then he's interested. Or you can like make eye contact with a guy. This is what we say. Like if you're at the bar, you don't need to go up to him and like say,
So
hey,
eye
my name's
contact's a
Remi.
big thing. But it's also personally until I was like 29, 30 years old, I never even like noticed the eye contact. And now
Really?
I notice it every time.
That the girl's interested
Every
if they give
time
you
I
the
can
eye
notice when the
contact.
girl is like checking me out or not, where like, I don't know if it was some epiphany in my mind. So like some guys maybe just don't realize it.
Yeah.
If they do.
Because
But the liking on Instagram is a good one. Like just follow the guy. Because if you follow the guy, like if a girl follows me, I'm like, okay, there's
It's a
reason why she's
signal of
following
interest
me.
Yeah.
for sure.
And if he's interested, the guy's gonna reach out.
You would
Because
assume
the
so.
honest thing
Yeah.
is, you guys are sitting here saying this. I actually think men enjoy the chase. Like, no, a woman shouldn't sit back and like wait for guys to text her. And like they can make initiative, but I think you guys like to take the first move. If a girl asked you out in the first second, I honestly, I don't know if you guys would
A
like it
girl
as much
doesn't have
as
to
you
walk
say.
up to you and ask you out.
And just
She
to make
introduces herself.
Introduce
That's
herself.
It.
That's
the guy's
it.
gonna
The girl
respond
shouldn't
in
be
English.
asking out the guy, but just like introduce yourself. But it's definitely true. A guy likes to chase. I always say it. Like if a guy is not interested in a girl at first, that's just never gonna change. If a girl is not interested in a guy,
It could
that could change if the guy's gonna chase her. And that's just how it is. Like the guy has to chase the girl or feel like he's in that vulnerable spot where like he needs to chase him to get that. Because if like even now, a lot of times, like even if I get set up and then if like off the bat, I'm not like excited to go on the date. people always say, go on a date, get a drink, this and that. Like in my head, if like I'm not excited about it from the get-go,
That's it.
I've done it before. I've gone multiple times, and each time it's the same result. Because like if you're going into it kind of with that mentality, it's really not going to happen. But then sometimes I am excited to go into a date, and then it ends up fine, and sometimes it doesn't. But I think that's like a big
Guys are
part of it
much more
also.
black and white. Women are more like, okay, but he is, trying and he's got emotional intelligence and he's got this. Like women are a lot
Correct,
more
yeah.
like,
And you could there's been tons
So
of
let's
people
talk
I know,
about
yeah.
black and white and guys a little bit more. You go on a date with a girl you like compared to you go on a date with a girl that's great, but you're just not interested in. How do you act differently when you text them so that they can understand, what the difference is between a guy that's interested and a guy that's not?
Well, usually if it's someone I'm going out with that like I'm not so into, it's more of a setup, let's say. Like I wouldn't waste a girl's time and be texting her if I'm like not really interested in it from the get-go, right? So like if I'm gonna be interested to go out with you, like odds are I'd be like leading up conversation to like be going out and texting you afterwards. But the ones that let's say like listen, I don't know if there are other guys that do just waste girls' time, but I'm more of like if I'm not interested in going, I'm not gonna just like be texting you just for like fun because I'm bored, right?
I think some guys do waste some girls' time, but it's
I
obviously.
agree. I think they probably do. Like a lot of people are bored. A lot of people are just okay. Like, is this someone I could talk to right now? This and that.
what about after
Yeah.
the date? If you're not interested and you have to kind of play the like, I'll reach out and we'll have another date. Like, I don't think you can just like be uninterested, but like, do you have a different way that you text after the date if you're interested
Let me
versus
give you
not?
my answer just so then you can answer yours. If I'm interested, just like Zach, I'm initiating, and soon enough I'm going to be asking them on another date. If I go on a date and she's lovely, but like I'm not trying to break up with the girl I went on one date with, so I'll give a thank you text, a cute text, but like at
You're
the
not
end,
initiating
and that's
after
it.
that. That's
I'm
it.
never
Yeah,
initiating
yeah.
after that.
Is that ghosting?
It's not. It's after a
No, it's
first date.
respectfully parting
Listen,
ways.
I think it's if you're going after a girl on a few dates, it's respectful to text them afterwards and be like, hey, like I had a great time. Like I don't see this coming out to more.
Mhm.
I think after a first date,
You
if
don't.
it's okay, I think you can kind of like get the vibe in a sense. And especially if like you're right afterwards, like, hey, I had a nice time. And then the next day there's not really any follow-up there, right? That's how you could kind of like know. But personally, I've always like, even if it was after a couple dates, I'd always like say something, even if it was like, even if you have like some people even have like flings with girls for like a month or two and then they'll just ghost, which is like the craziest thing to me.
Jonathan
So
would
then
do
if
that.
hold on, if a girl goes on a date with you and there's no follow-up from you, if she liked you, should she reach out to you?
I don't see like a harm in it, right? But then if she's reaching out to you, I think it's like the guy's responsibility to kind of be like, hey, like I didn't really see much coming out from this, right? Which is kind of a hard thing to do.
Right.
And like I said before, like you're just living in this generation of like if of everything's like social on your phone, this and that, and everyone's like afraid to like say something, right? And everyone's afraid of confrontation. And that's why this whole ghosting thing came about, is
Mhm.
because people don't know how to just tell someone like, hey, sorry, I'm not interested. Or they'll just keep on texting, and which is like I think is like one of like the worst things ever. I mean, even like, you also live in this like, New York City American dating culture where like if you go to like Europe or Israel, like you go on a few dates with a girl and then like that's it. Like you're considered like boyfriend and girlfriend. Like here you could be a month or two with
Yep.
someone and it's like a situationship, and then all of a sudden
Situationship.
one day it's like they're ghosting you, which I think
Yeah.
is like
It's
crazy.
so bad.
Which
It's
is
so
yeah.
mean.
Well, it
Yeah.
depends on the context. I mean, if you're hanging out with a girl once a month, like one day a month, and then like you
No,
disappear
that
after
doesn't
3 or 4
count.
months,
I
doesn't
wouldn't count that.
But if
No.
you're actually dating somebody and then you just jump ship for whatever the reasons are, yeah, shoot
Okay,
them
but
an explanation.
here's my only issue.
Right.
There's a girl that Jonathan used to see, and I'm sure there were a few of these, who probably thought that Jonathan was interested. No, it wasn't once a week, but it was probably every third week. He would take her to a nice dinner. They would go home and they would physically engage. And of course, she thought that he was interested. She just thought he was busy for 2 weeks and like whatever. But Jonathan was.
Any guy that likes a girl is not busy for 2-3 weeks.
Girls
I agree
playing
with
her
John
own
here.
games too.
Yeah.
This is not me being the big bad wolf here.
No, I
Any
play
girl,
my
I'm sure
game.
she was
right.
doing her own
There's no
stuff.
way a girl thought you're interested if you're hanging out with her every third
Exactly.
week,
Correct.
going home, getting
Correct.
with her, and that's it.
Correct.
Like,
We were friends.
listen,
plus.
that's how a guy thinks for sure. I don't know if a girl.
I
is
don't think
thinking
that's
that
how a
way.
girl thinks. They're thinking he's texting and
If he
once
likes
in a while.
you, he wants to hang out with you every day of the week.
He'll show
Put it that
you.
way.
He'll text you. He'll be engaging. If a guy's not there, he's probably not interested. If a girl's in a slump, she's not meeting the right guys, she's not being asked out on dates, you have any advice as to how they can get out there and have guys get more attracted to her and whatnot to be in a better place?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I definitely think it's very hard for girls for sure because, like I said before, there's a lot more girls than guys, right? And I definitely just hear from everyone, even when I go on dates. Like sometimes I go on a first date and they'll be like, "Wow, this is like so refreshing." Like what am I? I'm not doing anything. They're like, "You have no idea." Like the things people say, like how weird they are, like just like the social like, and I was like. I'm like, this is crazy. And then they'll be on the date, like, oh, I'd love to go on a second date already. And I was like, I'm literally just, I remember like there was one time, I think I was like sick that day. And I was like, all right, like I'll go. Like I felt like shit. I was just sitting there, just talking. And she was like, whoa, this is amazing. And I was like, what am I even doing over here?
That's so
It could be your amazing hair. I mean, this is amazing.
I don't know. Yeah, listen,
how do you get
once
your hair
I
to
lose
be
my hair, that's it.
so
Everything else is
perfect?
gone for me.
This is fantastic.
I'm lucky.
By the
My dad has a full
what are
head
you
of
putting
hair.
there?
You have pretty good hair also.
Yes, I
honestly.
do.
And
You
that's-
do.
I'm blessed.
You're good. You're good.
It's honestly rare for guys these days, and Jonathan has great hair.
No,
but
you're good.
yours has such
Thank
a
God,
good little.
honestly. I told everyone like the day I started losing my hair, that's the day where it's like count me out.
Bye-bye.
Count me
You better
out.
be married by that point.
You're done. Exactly.
Wait, what was your
What
point?
could a girl do to get more out there? I mean, listen, I think it's definitely hard. I mean, listen, you have to like honestly, those are good things. Like if you're interested in a guy, see him on Instagram, add him. You know, you can even send like a DM. Or, I don't even think doing the DM. I think even if you add a guy will know that you like them.
What a little
know,
like if you press the hearts on the story. If he's like somewhere cool and you like
That's great.
press hearts,
Then
you know?
right. If the girl press a heart on the
Just like
story
the
or a
little
like,
hearts.
yeah.
Yeah,
Then
the like.
you
That's
know.
what I meant. The little like.
Then you know. Then the guy knows, and then like if the guy likes you, he's gonna say
Yes,
something,
yes.
right?
We're gonna play a little game
yeah.
called.
Wait, he didn't finish about what a
Oh.
girl should do if she's in a slump. I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
hear more.
So she's in a slump.
That I mean,
What recommendations would you give?
you have to you also have to just put yourself out there. You got to go to as many like, especially like being in New York and like Jewish community. There's always like these events. There's always this stuff. But like I said before, it's really hard to meet people at these things. Like personally, I go to like 2 or 3 events a year. Usually the same people. You know, even if like there is someone that you want to walk over to, like they're talking to 5 different people, and you're like, oh, this is like weird to walk over to them alone. Things like that. It's like it's definitely harder to find. Like even though people do kind of meet that way. But what else could you do? I mean, it's putting yourself out there. It's, I guess, telling people around you that, you know, you're looking for a guy, this and that, because like everyone always knows somebody, right? So,
Yeah.
So events,
yeah.
weddings, setups.
Events, weddings, setups, Instagram,
Instagram.
little like on the story.
I also think here's another one that I think women can be very like thrifty with this. Jonathan did this with me actually. If you see a handsome guy on Instagram, look at your mutual friends. If there's someone you're really close to, text that person, say, "Hey, is this guy like a good
Do you know
guy?"
this guy?
And then if they say yes,
And
say,
make it a setup.
"Would you
They
set
could
me
set
up?"
it up.
So that
Smart.
person can then say, "Oh my God, I just thought of the best person for you." This is how we got set up, honestly. But like, I have the best person for you. So it doesn't look like that girl
Wait, you
did
looked
it.
up.
No, opposite, obviously.
I found her on Facebook, and I had a mutual friend set us up for a
And
date,
you asked him.
and that was that.
Got
And
it.
the guy was like, I
But
have
he
the
was a
best
good
idea.
closer.
Yeah.
If I hired the wrong closer, I would have been up the river with no
Yeah.
paddles.
He
But
was
like
like-
that you said, look, he went after you in a sense. Like he wanted to be set up with you.
Yeah. And
right?
Jonathan
Yeah,
used
That's
to.
a big
fully.
thing too. So like the guys, like the girl could initiate, but and if the guy thinks she's cute, he'll be like, okay, this is great. And then sometimes you're a guy and you'll be like, holy shit, I can't believe that this girl's actually interested in me. I would have never even thought to ask her out, right?
Yes.
So
I think a girl needs to look at her friend group, and as nice as they may be, you have to, who you hang out with is who's going to potentially set you up. So if a good girl is with great girls and they have the same hobbies, the same interests, and like that circle is just a phenomenal circle to surround yourself in, that's a good start also. That's a good focus. But if you're doing weird things with weird people, going to weird places, you know, you're going to end up in weird situations.
I also have another one. And you say this, I think women smiling more wherever you are, but like if you smile and be
And glow.
a shining light and glow and do the inner work, but even just like focus on like smiling, like if you walk in a room and you see the like cute smiley girl who's talking to her friends, doesn't it just attract you
it
more
definitely
than
works.
like?
When most people come into a room, like they want to kill somebody.
Yeah,
a
they're
lot
like-
of times.
they're
Or
like
this
this,
or
like-
like that. Yeah, for sure.
So I think a smile is a
If they're
good
smiling, you're gonna like kind of like stand out a little bit.
Exactly,
right?
and, like,
Which definitely-
open
and then people
up.
knows you're bubbly, you're
Yes.
personable. You're not gonna be like
Guys
a
are
dud.
attracted to happiness and happy girls, I think.
Yes.
So I think
exactly.
smile where you are.
So what is what does your first date look like?
Oh my God, I was going to ask, what is your go-to first date? What's your go-to first
Well, you
date?
guys have like telepathy over here, right?
I guess
We
so.
do.
Tell us.
So obviously, like in New York, everyone like does just like drinks or like dinner and something like that. So I guess it depends like who like what type of date it is. Like if I really want to like impress someone, I'll try and do something like maybe like out of the ordinary or something like that. Like I don't know, I'm a big like sports fan of everything, and I'm a big believer that sports games are like great because you're
Yes.
sitting there for 2.5, 3 hours, and you're able to, but like sometimes people think like as a first date that's like too much,
I love it.
which I think is fine. Like it's cool. You're able to talk for 2, 3 hours. Like how many times can you go on drinks all the time, right? It's hard to find like different things to do. Even one time actually, I went on a first date. Like I was talking to someone, like I'm very into like, like gym, sauna, bathhouse, whatever. And I was talking to someone and I was like, oh, I'm going to like the bathhouse tonight and like flat iron. And she was like, oh, like that's cool. And then like, yeah, it was a first date. And people are like, you took a girl to a bathhouse on the first date? I'm like, big deal. It's like a chill place. You're in the sauna, you're in the cold plunge. You're like, everyone's chilling out in like the jacuzzi. Like, what's wrong with taking a girl there as on the first date? If she's
It's really
cool,
cute.
what does it
actually.
matter? Yeah,
I love
who
that.
cares?
And
Yeah.
it's probably,
That's amazing.
it's probably
But
the same price.
I will say though, if I show up to a Knicks game and then, I'm not attracted to this girl, or
That's
I'm
the
not
issue.
excited to hang out for
But that's
3
why,
hours.
like, if I'm
stuck
not
in the
sure
seat,
about
I'm
it,
like,
yeah, I'll
holy
just do
shabash.
drinks because drinks you can have 1 or 2 drinks. But like if I really wanted to like go out with this girl, like I'll go to
If you
it 'cause,
already
like I know
knew
that
her,
I
you
want
take her to Knicks game. But if you've never met her, I'd wait to the second date person.
But then you could just watch the
It
Knicks
depends
game
who it
and you're
is.
fine.
Yeah.
You could just enjoy
I
the
feel
Knicks
you.
game.
I feel I wouldn't
know what
do
I
it
mean?
unless I really like.
No, but you're talking
drinks
about
is
somebody
my-
that you know.
Drinks
that
is
you
my
wanna go out
go-to.
with.
Drinks is my go-to.
That's different. Right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna
Right.
play a little game called turn-ons and turn-offs.
Oh,
We're
interesting.
gonna have a little fun with it. So, girl talks a lot on your date, and then we're gonna get to a girl that doesn't really open up, and she doesn't really get deep with you, or so.
Got
Are
it.
either of those turn on or turn off?
So I think it depends who the guy is. So personally, I could talk to a wall. So I've never had like a very awkward date, even if the girl doesn't really open up. It just won't be like a great date, right? So I don't think it matters whether. I think it's bad if a girl doesn't speak for sure. I think it's better off if the girl is talking, right? And if you're having normal conversation, if like I don't believe that like one person should be talking and one person shouldn't, right? Like personally, the dates that I go on that the girl is like very shy or a little awkward, I'm kind of like, I could maneuver it, like I maneuver the conversation. I'm not having like a great time, right? Like I'd rather the girl, be talking and not, just like listening. Right?
Is there ever too much talking?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
not too much talking.
I love these
You never had a
answers.
yapper?
I've never had a yapper.
You're just
It's
scared
usually
you
the
the heck out of
opposite.
dinner. You're like, forget the dessert, even though I love chocolate cake. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, not from yapping, maybe from like other things, but whatever. I won't,
What other things?
Nothing. It's all good. Don't worry.
Well, that's the next one. Any embarrassing,
So then there's other things
embarrassing
that if the-
dates or other
Well,
things that
sometimes
ever
there's
occurred
other
on it?
times where like girls are sometimes are like very like upfront. I mean, it's very rare. Usually, girls are more reserved and stuff like that. But I guess if you were into the girl, like like I went on a date once and like they were asking me like on a first date like some like crazy questions like about like past relationships. It's like going like way too deep into like a first date, right? Like I think there's some things that like you could kind of like leave out. Like one time someone said like, before we go into this, like I just want to make sure, do you have any mental health issues? Like, do you speak to a psychiatrist? And I'm like, all right, lady, this is like a first date. Like, relax. Like,
Seriously?
Yeah. But like that's very rare. That was like one time. But
Did she have mental health issues?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I plead the fifth on that one. I don't know.
Okay.
It was a first date, and then that was it.
So it's like Gattaca. She wants a clean bill of health. She wants a doctor's note.
Is that
She wants it all.
something not
Listen,
from
I
our
also
generation?
understand if a girl is scarred from before, from past relationships, and maybe they had issues, this and that. They just like want to clear this like from the get go and want to make sure that's not going to be an issue as opposed to just waiting. And like now more than ever, it's like people are getting married later. Every girl I feel like is like having social anxiety, depression, all these things, and like but like I just noticed it because I had I have like good friends that were older, like now they're engaged and married, but like a lot of them were in like full on like anxiety, depression mode because of it, and it's like sad.
Send them to
But,
me.
yeah.
I would love to make them not feel that way. Also,
Yeah.
just something I'm hearing a lot because it seems like maybe you would have different opinions than him. The bottom line is what's meant for you will be yours. So even if you sleep with someone on the first date, even though I tend to say, wait a second, or you're a yapper or you're quiet, like what's meant for you is going to be yours. Like
100%. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. And I think also
nothing's going to like change that.
You also know, like, just on the first like 10, 20 minutes of talking to the person, like whether you vibe or not. That's really the truth. And it's very rare to happen.
I agree with everything that he's saying. I'm just adding.
But there's different opinions, personalities.
I'm like going down like Johnny's footsteps, like footpath over here.
This is me 12 years ago.
Yeah, basically.
I don't think 12 years ago. Don't need yourself that much.
People come over to you and they're like, oh, like you're 32. Like, why aren't you married? Like, what's wrong with you? This and that. I'm like, to be honest with you, like, I think that there's issues with other people of just settling, of just like, okay, like this is what I'm supposed to do, especially like the community we grew up in, of like, all right, like that's it. Like you go to school, you maybe work a year or two, you get married, you have kids, like this is how your life is supposed to be, this and that. Like, are all those people really happy? I mean,
I would never tell you that. I would never tell you.
Everyone's having this anxiety about, should I need to get married? And because that's like the social norm. And then they think that they're like the wrong ones when like, honestly, like they're probably the right ones. And they're waiting for someone that they would happily be with, right? Like, why not wait the extra, whatever it is, 5 to 10 years to meet the right person
who you're going to be with for 50 years,
as opposed to like being 50 and then your kids are already grown and older and then they're out of the house and you're stuck with this person that you hate. So
my advice for you is you're doing it right. You're signing such a long-term contract and you're partnering up with this love for the rest of your life, every second of every day.
Listen, you're my inspiration. If like you're able to do it, you know, then
you're doing great.
You got a few more years if you want to follow his.
For the right partnership, and you'll date a lot of girls on the way and whatnot. But
trust me,
and you'll grow up. And you'll live, you'll learn.
Been there, done that already.
You
like I'm already like for next week. Like I have like 3 different girls I'm supposed to be, let's say, like set up with, right? And like, you know, am I particularly like so excited to do it? Like in my head, I'm like, oh, like it's like gonna probably be Knicks game 5 or Rangers or game 7
Tuesday night.
I'd rather go to that. Yeah.
So we already know.
Do I get free game 5 tickets out of this podcast?
Honestly, we should.
The nosebleed section.
You'll be sitting with us at the top.
My wife should be paying you. She should.
It's all good.
She should be gifting her guest.
I'm here for the general good because, like, obviously, I know the whole topic of dating. And general, especially in the Jewish community, is a very, you know, big topic these days. Especially, it's the first time, and like parents don't get it because they didn't live in this generation of, you know, Instagram, social media, dating apps, and everything being on your phone, where like it used to be you had to speak to people, you had to pick up a phone, you had to drive and pick up the girl up. Now it's like, okay, let me get you an Uber. Let me just text the girl. Like, oh shoot, I don't like her. Okay, I'm just gonna like slither away and just like never say anything again.
It's a different game.
It's a different game, and it's just a different. It's the first generation in hundreds of years that this is happening, and it's like such a quasi, you know, in between, because like the parents won't get it because they didn't grow up that way. And now we're in this situation. So everyone kind of looks at us and it's like, what's going on? But it's 100% that people are getting married later and later. And that's just kind of the trend that it's happening. Like, and I'm sure like our kids also, it's probably going to be, who knows what's going to be then at that point, right? It's just a complete shift in how things are going.
So we're having to learn how to adjust to it.
It's very beautiful that you're here to help out a lot of girls that want clarity and wisdom, and they're probably enjoying hearing from you the truth. So with the next question, dinner bill comes, we already know you're paying. I can bet on it. However, do you prefer a girl to just like sit there and smile, or, you know, ask, can I share it with you? Can we split it? And like kind of...
it doesn't matter so much to me, but I definitely think it's nicer if the girl says like, oh, hey, can I pay? Because obviously I'm gonna say no. Right. But obviously I've heard some dates where all of a sudden the guy says, yeah, sure, I'll split the bill.
Oh, that's
which is bad. That's bad. Like the fact that stuff like that goes on is
but that's good for the girl, because then she'll say, oh my God, this guy is out.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And
I think it's nice
as
if the
opposed
girl
to wasting another date or another 5 dates.
Nice if the girl offers, but like it doesn't matter. You know?
I think it's a cute thing. And again, if the guy says, sure, let's split the first date, then
bye-bye.
I would assume he's gone.
Bye-bye.
No, yeah, that's a no-go. It's a no-go.
Okay, what about drugs? A girl smokes a little joint before dinner or something. You cool with that? Or
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine, but some guys aren't. Like, I'm cool with it.
I'm so surprised by his answers. Are you?
Yeah.
No,
I love his answers.
I think all his answers are
very
totally
listen, like I said before, like I come off like nice and timid innocent, but I'm very like open and not judgmental, and I'm very, you know, like you're never gonna find perfect things, right? Like if a girl's like smoked a joint before dinner, fine, sure. But like if she's like every Saturday night, like going out till 6 a.m. while you're at home, then whatever. But it's also nice to have someone to have fun with also. Like, all right, like if she wants to go out to 6 a.m. and you want to go out to 6 a.m., like great, that's a great night. But like if she's just out every night, like without you, that's probably like an
No.
issue,
Mhm.
you know? No
Do you
problem.
like pets?
Sounds
Do you like
good.
pets? You have pets?
Yeah,
now?
I have a dog. Yeah.
You have-
Cute.
I mean, my family has a dog, but we take him a lot.
That's
Big
so-
dog guy.
Do you live
That's
with your brother?
I live with my younger brother. Yes.
I love that. So cute.
Me and my
Does
younger
he have
brother.
as good of hair as you?
Yeah, his hairline is actually like right here.
Oh,
So,
wow.
like, he's never losing hair. It's actually kind of crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I'm very family oriented. Like my family and I are very close. It's just me and my brother, my parents. Pivotal
Wait, can I
moment.
make this really awkward? The
No.
reason that I know you is because you and your brother came up to me and my sister to flirt with us.
It's true. And Johnny was right there, smiling,
I was like-
loving the whole entire thing.
I love
But yeah,
every
that's how we
second of
met.
it.
I was like,
That's how we met.
not only am I married, but I also have child. And you're like, what?
Yeah,
I was having a
I
great
was in
time at that
shock.
party. I loved it.
By the
Usually,
way,
but Johnny was cool. Most guys would be like, dude, don't talk to my girlfriend. Johnny was like, I love this. Like,
I
the
had a
fact that
great
someone's
time.
hitting on my wife, this is like, but yeah, me and my brother came over to you and
very
your sister
flattering.
to take you
by
guys
the way,
out.
we literally
But see,
like
we
had
do walk over
crushes.
to, we do
Yes.
walk over to girls. It's true. We do.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're a confident guy. And
Yeah, but most guys
Move
I
on
feel
from
like
my
aren't so confident. That's
Right.
the thing too.
Yeah, and
Most
you and
guys
your
don't
brother
approach
have like
girls.
swag.
so
You
if a
guys
girl
I'll
has
take it.
4
You do.
cats, is that a turn off or you're cool with that?
4 cats is a little weird.
It's a little weird.
I think
What
having
about
like one
one?
animal is fine.
What about one?
I'm not a cat guy. Like
Uh-huh.
for some reason, if like a girl has a cat, I'm like, why don't you have a dog? But like, I don't judge it. One cat's okay.
What is the most useful life lesson your parents taught you? Because you seem to have a great head on your shoulders. So
Life lesson. What in what regard? Like life, relationships.
we're
like,
learning about you, so you can go in any which way. You want.
I think growing up, so like my dad is like the mayor of like Brooklyn in our area. Like he goes out of his way to do everything for everyone. He's like president of our like shul. Like everyone that knows him in Brooklyn, like his nickname was like Saint Jeff, like when we were growing up. So just like by the actions, I think of your parents, and my mom also is like a gem. You know what I mean? Like the way I just like see them act with each other, and I see how like my mom, you know, raised me and my brother, and I see how my dad did. Like they always say like the apple doesn't fall too far from a tree, and I feel like that like you learning that stuff comes from your family a lot because like now I realize once you're out in the real world and you realize like most people like aren't good people and they're shady and everyone's trying to screw each other. Like a lot of that I think is like how you grow up. So not a specific life lesson, but I think let's say like being a good person, like doing the right thing. You know, just because someone else doesn't do the right thing doesn't mean you shouldn't do the right thing. You know, I even remember when I was in 8th grade, I went to like a movies with like a friend who was a girl, and my dad gave me like $20, and he was like, if you ever go out with a girl, even if it was her friend, he goes, I don't have the money. He goes, you asked me for the money. I remember that from 8th grade.
That's super cute.
And that was it. Yeah.
We're
That's-
really kind of like twins because I was writing my Mother's Day card yesterday. And
Oh shit, I need to get one.
Shoot,
Maybe
me
I'm not
too.
as good as you.
Sorry.
yeah, you all need to get on that. It's Sunday. And I was writing my mother, thank you for teaching me how to give, how to be generous, how to love. That's one of the most important things that I do for my daughter and makes me happy. And it's all about giving and just enjoying and sharing your enjoyment of life with your loved ones. So in that same regard, I think that goes along.
Yeah, like I think it's terrible. You know, you have some families that don't speak to each other. You know,
very
you
sad.
have like at the end of the day, like it's like family and that above all, because then like after that is like what's really like the point of life in general, right? It's like your family and your friends, right? Like after that, like obviously
People.
there's money, you want to like live a good life, this and that, but then there's a certain point where it's like the money's not like buying you happiness. Like that incremental money that you're gonna get, like what is that gonna get you, right? Is it gonna get you like an extra car? Is it get you an extra that? Like I feel like the people that are around you and your experiences are obviously like more valuable than like anything you're gonna get from like, you know, money and like that type of stuff.
right on.
I
So
love it.
that was a little bit of a
I
tangent
love
there,
it.
but
No, it's the best thing ever. Do you have
All right.
more?
I'm done.
Okay, question. We
Yes.
didn't cover this really. I mean, we kind of did, but like what just basic, what are you looking for and what's going to make you get down on one knee for a girl? What is it?
I think it's also I've like gone out with so like a lot of people tell me that like when are you gonna know? Like how are you gonna know? Like what's the qualities that you look in a girl, this and that? I think a lot of it is like, you know, obviously you want to have like certain things that like I feel like in order for me to let's even vibe with someone, right? You kind of have to be on the same social wavelength, right? And like the same personality wise, right? And then I think there's just this extra like chemistry thing that like people that I speak to, they're like something just like hits you in the head. And I was like, I don't know if I ever believed that before, but like most people I speak to now, they're like after like the first or second date, like either I knew this was like my wife or that there was like crazy potential here. I know that's same for me too. It's like I'll maybe have like once a year where I'll meet a girl and I'm like, whoa, like this is like, and I'll be talking to them for like 4 hours straight, and like wanting to speak to them more. It's very rare, but that's just like an intangible thing that I think is, hard to find. And especially in my realm where I kind of like modern Orthodox, like if I meet someone that's like just Jewish and doesn't like really like know anything, it's hard for me to like emotionally connect on that level. So like it's hard enough as it is. And then you add that. And like, I'm sure it's the same thing for girls too, who are kind of like in that, middle limbo or whatnot, or on one side or the other. So it's hard enough, I feel like, as it is chemistry. And then you add on, the religion factor to it. It just adds onto it. But I'm very like strong on like my like values and beliefs. So like some people don't care and they'll just, they'll bend it for a little bit. So it kind of makes it a little harder. But I don't have like a set thing that's gonna make me do it. And I think that's for everyone. I think it's like, my best friend now, like literally after her second date was like, this is crazy. Like I'm pretty sure this is my husband. And now she literally just got engaged 2 weeks ago after 5 months.
Honestly, I even think before a date, there's a chance. Like before Jonathan, I don't know why I had a feeling that this was different, and so did he.
Beforehand?
Literally before the date.
What about on the first date?
We had a very strong connection.
Where'd you go on the first date?
To more or less Carbone.
Zizi's Clam Bar.
It's yes.
And was it like, were you there for like
but
hours?
We're kosher, so we ordered the pasta and the tuna.
Yes, we were there.
Right, that's what I was
doing.
Do you want to hear how long our date lasted?
Wait, is it Zizi's membership?
It was
wow,
the
John,
old.
I didn't know you're that. I didn't know you're that fancy.
I got a guy at Carbone, but it was rented out for private
Can I
events.
get that connect?
Like, let me just get you the pasta.
At least if I get something out of this, I need some connect to
Exactly,
to Tal or Carbone or something.
We had a great guest from Dorsia on, and he'll get you in anywhere you want.
Wait, want to hear fun facts about our first date? Jonathan's apartment.
And it was dinner?
It was dinner, and then we continued. We continued
to live music at this blues bar called Terra Blues. And then we got a slice of pizza.
So it was like a 6 p.m. to like 2 a.m. night.
No, not 2 a.m. His apartment was next to my office at the time. I left his apartment. I passed by my office. The sun was rising. And I didn't sleep there. We were just like talking and hanging out and whatever.
Playing backgammon.
And I got home. I lied down for a second. I took a shower. I put clothes on, and I headed right back to the office.
That was fun.
So it was.
So that was like a 12-hour night.
We had a long date, and
that's how like you're gonna want to be with that person for whatever. And like, listen, it comes eventually, right? For everyone. Like now, I guess that it's taking like longer time than others. But like when your time comes, like your time's gonna come. Like you're gonna meet that person, and I think it's just like crazy to get anxiety over things because I have some girlfriends who were like my age in the last like, year or two, like found their guy. And I was like, remember how crazy you were and how nuts you were going for years. And all of a sudden it's like, as if it didn't happen because you found the guy. Right.
Yes.
So that's it. Like, that's my tidbit. Exactly.
Yeah, it happens.
Have faith.
It happens.
And you have to have a positive attitude. If you're going to go around having anxiety about it and like, being anxious about it, it's just going to hurt your odds. Right. Like everyone goes to me like, are you dating for marriage? And I always say, like, at this point in my life, like if I meet someone that I really like, I'm not going to say, oh, I really like this girl, but I still want to like, fuck around. So I'm not going to push her to the side. Like if I really like the girl, like I'll be committed to a relationship. Right. So, that's like a big thing also. And I'm like, I don't know how to like answer that question in a sense. Right. Cause like, then you have other people that are literally serial dating. Cause they're like, let me find my husband. And like, they're going out like every night of the week and it's literally like a second job. And like, that's just exhausting. Like I had one week where I went out 4 days that week with 4 different girls and all 4 were just like, whatever. And I'm like, what am I doing? I wasn't even like excited for any of these dates. I'm like, so now like the same thing. I'm very selective on, let's say, who I go out with because like, I don't believe in that. Like, oh, just go, like, see what happens. Like, it's your time, it's your energy. Like, all right, maybe if you want to like go on a coffee date or like FaceTime them before. Like, honestly, like people talk to me about the FaceTime and coffee date. Like, not the worst
idea.
Worst idea.
Yeah. Don't like give an entire night.
Yeah.
I think everything that you're saying is so good from the fact that like 2 pieces of advice you're giving are like have fun with it. And if you're not having fun, you're not going to have the most attractive energy and the best of luck finding your person and have faith that it's going to happen and put yourself out there. And I just love it. It's like have fun and have faith. Like there's no better advice.
You have to have
and
that
enjoy
mindset.
The journey.
Yeah.
It's literally like law of attraction. Like if you're going to like think something and put out a certain vibe or whatever, like more than not, it's going to happen. Like if you're going to think negatively, like odds are like negative things are going to happen to you. And it's just like,
You are speaking my language. Who would have known that you were the coolest person ever? I love this so
I don't
much.
know. Listen, it was meant to be.
Yes.
Me and my brother hit on you and your sister. Then I bump into an engagement party. And then you text me. I would never do this in a million years. Then you texted me like, are you gonna do this podcast? And then the day that you texted me, I saw you at a random Tao like birthday party that I had no business being at. And I was like, what are the odds that you're there? I was like, all right, this is a sign. So like,
It's
here we are.
hysterical.
I hope that this like resonates with people, helps people.
I have one last question just because of that night that we went to the party. And we touched on this already, but it's hard for women when like it's so much on looks right now because it's Instagram. So you almost have this like resume of what you look like more or less. And then apps where it's this resume of what you look like. And so many women are, honestly, like there's the models who like are eating 600 calories a day. And then on top of that, they're editing their face and editing their body and this and that. Do you say for a woman, it's good to like the makeup and the this and the that? Or do you like more natural? Like, how are you going to handle that?
I think
the
more
looks
natural
culture.
is good because a guy's going to see you in like your natural state at some point. So being fake and putting on tons of makeup and things like that, guys notice that, right?
Amen.
So
It's
natural
true.
over everything.
Natural over everything, 1,000%.
Okay, and
Yeah.
last question. You've given so much good advice and good insight into men. If you don't have a sister, no, it's just you and your brother.
Just me and my brother.
For your
yeah.
best girlfriend, if you were to have a sister, God willing, if you want to have a daughter one day, a daughter, like what is your one piece of advice to women out there who are looking for their bashert, their husband?
So, like in summary and recap, basically is relax. Everything's fine, right? You're gonna find it eventually, whether you're 25, whether you're 35, it's okay, right? Like everyone has their person. They're out there. Personally, I believe in like, they always say like a soulmate. Like I definitely think that there could be a few people that might, be someone for you. I don't think that you have to think like, oh shoot, like there's just one guy out there and like that's gonna be it, right? And I think a lot of it is just timing, where your mindset is, especially like as a guy. And I think it's just like I said, like you said before, like have fun with it, just be out there, be positive. Don't like think about it too much. Don't go home at the end of each day saying, I hate that I'm single. I hate that I'm single. Because if you're gonna think that attitude, then you're just gonna hurt your chances in a sense. That's my overall.
Amen.
Exactly.
Bravo. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We hope you liked it as much as we did. Now go send it to someone who needs to hear it, because we know that dating, relationships, marriage can be tough, but we want to make it less tough. And remember, you're allowed to hate your husband. Whatever you're feeling is allowed. So go send it to a friend, to your sister, your brother, maybe your boyfriend, a husband, whoever needs to hear this, send it to them. And while you're at it, click the follow button, click the review button. Always feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And we're so excited to see you in our next episode.